So we're back, guys. Welcome back to the Ricky2ra podcast episode. Hold up, I need to have a look now what episode we're on. I'm sure it's 17. Yeah, welcome back to episode 17. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been a bit behind schedule this week because I got caught up with some other stuff earlier last week and this week, so I haven't really planned this episode how I'd like to have planned it. Literally about 5-10 minutes before I hit record, I got my notepad, well, not even my notepad, what do you call these? Are these sticky notes? I got a sticky notepad, just wrote a few notes on it, things that just came to the top of my mind that I wanted to talk about, not forcing anything, just what I wanted to talk about. So I'm going to call this like just like a random episode, or I might like put the names of stuff that I'm talking about and like just put a slash next to everything. So it's not in like the same format as my previous episodes where I just talk about one topic. This is a few topics that maybe I might talk a couple of minutes or 3-4 minutes about as well. It's got some fun stuff in it as well, so it's not all magic-y. So we're going to talk about some other things as well. Things that were just at the top of my mind. And you know what, it was quite fun for me as well, because 99% of the time I know what I'm going to talk about, so it's kind of fun really to have this kind of change where I kind of just write stuff before the episode. It kind of reminds me back in the early days. I've got my computer on, so I can look back at the episodes. So it kind of reminds me of episode 1, 2 and 3 and even 4. Episode 4 was my first ever gig, so I kind of just talked from the heart in my head in that. I didn't have no notes for that. I think in working in the shop I did, just brief notes, kind of like what I have now, but otherwise after that I think I started planning my stuff, so it's a nice change, just to get back to this sort of format really. So yeah, let's get into this random episode. So in no particular order, the first thing that I wrote down was Sybil cut. Now I know what you're thinking, Ricky, what the hell are you talking about? This is more for like magicians and cardists. So cardists meaning people who do like really funky card moves, for the non-magicians and cardists out there. And civil cut, the definition of that is basically, do you know, if you guys have seen Dynamo, sorry for the noise podcast, I'm opening my deck of playing cards. Do you know Dynamo on TV? He does the Dynamo shuffle. Big up to Dynamo because I love that move. Well, it's not actually called the Dynamo shuffle, it's called the civil cut. And for the YouTube listeners and watchers, you'll see now that I'm doing it on camera. So this is the Sybil cut. So it's like making about 3 to 4 packets move, really, like that. And I think Dynamo does like a thing like this, where he like puts it on his chin. This might be a bit weird, podcast listeners, but I'm just making the cards move in my hands. And I balance one on the bottom of my chin as well. So that is called a Sybil cut really. That's the origin really. So I'm guessing like, I haven't really looked into it, but I'm guessing like Michael Jackson's moonwalk, that originated from somewhere, and maybe it wasn't called a moonwalk at first. I could be 100% wrong, but I'm kind of like trying to get a little comparison going on there. So yeah, the reason why I brought the Sybil cut up, okay, so definition of Sybil cut, that was it, what I just showed you, just for confusion, right? For the podcast listeners, it was a funky card move. So the reason why I brought that up is because from 2011 to about 2016, I'd like to say, so about a good 5 years, I used that every single time I'd perform magic. Just because Dynamo did really, and the reason why I've explained before, because I wanted to just be like Dynamo, copy his style and stuff. well, I kind of copied his style first because he was like the magician that really like got me into it. So obviously it was going to be me comparing myself to him. And yeah, I'd do it time and time again. I'd get somebody to take a card, I'd put it back into the pack, and I'd be like, wait a second, we're going to shuffle the cards, and I'd do it like that. Now, people were amazed, don't get me wrong, people were just amazed by that. But a lot of other people were saying, oh, he's doing the Dynamo shuffle, this and that, like in a good way, not like, ooh, he's doing the Dynamo shuffle, like in a good way. And you know what, part of me liked it at first, but then as the years went on, about 2-3 years into it, yeah, people were saying that, and I was like, you know what, I don't really, like I'm Ricky, like don't, in my mind I was like, just like let me be my own person, like, don't bring up Dynamo when I'm doing a magic to you. Obviously, like I respect the guy, but like you don't really want like Kanye West performing in front of you and somebody telling him it sounds like Jay-Z, like you understand what I'm saying, so it's kind of like that. And it really hit to the point where I'm going to big up Charles from Bradford Magic Circle. Charles is, if I ever go back to Bradford Magic Circle when this is all over, I'll bring my camera and I'll get Charles on my vlog, because he is an amazing magician as well, so big up Charles. But it was at my first time at Bradford Magic Circle. It was actually the story that I was telling in episode 5, my first time there. So actually before my audition I had to just chill out and wait in the seating area. Well, it wasn't a seating area, it's in a pub basically, so I was just sat on a seat in a pub and Charles was there, so I sat next to him and he told me like, oh, let's see what like magic tricks you got and stuff. So I started performing magic on him and I did that. I did like the Dynamo, I'm going to call it Dynamo Shuffle just for the sake of it, just so it's easier for you guys. So I did like the Dynamo Shuffle in between, showing him a magic trick and stuff, and he liked it. But Charles is like a really like he's deep into his magic, so he knows quite a lot. He's done magic for over like decades, for like beyond me, so he knows, and he pointed it out and he says, your shuffle's good, the Dynamo shuffle's good, but people are gonna notice that about him and not you. So that's when I kind of thought like, yeah, he's actually right, because I was thinking about this as well. So I think after 2016 I kind of like reduced it slowly in my gigs. Obviously I didn't want to take it out straight away because that was like kind of like part of my routine at gigs, but slowly I took it away and I don't even do it now. When I'm performing, I only do it for like maybe a cool social media video sometimes, but just for the fact that I've kind of evolved over the years from that. But it was a good starting point, don't get me wrong, like I practice that all day and night. I used to do it all the time. If I have any old video footage that I feel comfortable putting out maybe in the future of, because I used to record myself all the time, I'm pretty sure I've got like loads of footages just doing the Dynamo Shuffle just randomly. So look out for that maybe in the future. I don't really feel comfortable putting that out yet, but I'll have to dig deep into the hard drives for them, because you're talking about a good 4 or 5 years ago now. But yeah, but that's basically it, and I stopped doing it, and I kind of started putting my own style into it. I've talked about this on the podcast as well, but I think style's important because you want your personality to come out in your performances as well. So I'm just talking from my experience. So the Dynamo Shuffle kind of stopped. I started doing like riffle shuffles and like helix cuts. I'm going into like different card moves now, so this might sound a bit confusing for the non-magicians / cardists out there, but whenever I'm saying like a fancy move, just think of like a cool card move that's basically what I'm talking about. So I used to do like helix cuts now and stuff like that. So I kind of like mix it up in my performances now, but I don't necessarily do the Dynamo shuffle anymore. So yeah, that's straight away the thing that I put down on my sticky notes, really. So yeah, actually that's a good segue that I used to do the Dynamo shuffle into social media, because I really do want to talk about social media. It's been on my mind actually quite a lot. Obviously we consume social media all the time, every day, every week, every month, throughout the whole year. I got Instagram in 2012, and I only remember this because I got my first proper smartphone then, and because before that I think I used to have like a, what's it called, HTC. Does anybody have a HTC phone anymore? I used to have that, and I didn't have, like, the apps weren't compatible, some of them. So when I got like my new smartphone, it's a Samsung, and yeah, I downloaded Instagram and all this stuff. So yeah, anyway, so social media, like I started to just post normally on social media like a normal person would, but it was always in my mind to put magic on there, but I didn't know how, because I'd never done it before. So like now I'm talking to you guys on the camera, I'm talking to you guys on the podcast, but if you're talking even this time last year, I'd really struggle to talk to you guys and look directly into the camera, just for the fact that I haven't done it enough times, that I'm comfortable enough doing it. So if you look back on my first, even second, third podcast episodes, I do sound nervous, and don't get me wrong, I do get nervous as well being on camera. But I'm just talking about just doing it to the point where like you get comfortable doing it. So like when I first got Instagram, I was thinking I think Instagram used to have 15-second videos, right? And I was thinking, how can I do this to incorporate it into social media? So how can I put them both together? So that's how kind of like where Freestyle Fridays came. I wanted to do a 15-second snippet of a song and me just doing like card moves. And it wasn't until about August 2015. I'm really good with my dates just because I know sometimes I like rewatch the videos from back then just to see how I can improve, and I kind of look at the date as well. So I know like in August time 2015, or was it 2015? Anyway, August time sometime a while ago, I did like some chewing gum magic, where I'd like take chewing gum out, I'd blow on it and it turned back into the actual solid chewing gum before you chew it. And that was the first thing. It was a nice short video. Put that on my Instagram, I think, as well. And by the way, I did not have a tripod or anything like that. I had this camera, but I like balanced it on my cupboard that I could look on it. But it was kind of like just getting into the motion of just practicing getting on camera at first. I didn't talk throughout any of my videos. I think the only video I talked on was, and I don't think you guys will even remember this, it will be a Christmas one that I made like a mince pie come out of like a card. Like I had a picture of a mince pie, and I like got the picture, pulled it, and it turned into a real mince pie and the picture was gone. So that was probably the only talking that I did back then. I can't remember what year that was in, but it was a Christmas time anyway. But yeah, that was the only time. And if I ever find that video, it's on my YouTube actually. It is. I've just remembered now. It's on my YouTube. It's called like, I know the thumbnail that I created says Merry Christmas. I don't actually know the name. You know what? I've got my computer right next to me opened on my YouTube. If you just bear with me 2 seconds, I'm gonna find it right now for you. So it is called. Didn't delete it, did I? Oh no, I didn't. So it's the most basic name ever. So it's from 4 years ago. It's called Christmas Magic, and it's a 40-second video. I have no idea why I put it on YouTube for a 40-second video, but hey, these things happen. I don't know why I've got a money levitation video there as well. But anyway, yeah, so that was the only one really that I was doing talking into, and then like the Ricky2ra ones, obviously that was a performance type video with people in it, so I had to talk, but I'm just talking like me to the camera. I never hardly talked until that video. So yeah, I incorporated that. I kind of like, obviously I must have put a link on my Instagram to go back to YouTube. But anyway, yeah, it was more or less just building up myself on camera, just to doing magic, not actually talking. So that's kind of like where Instagram was the main platform for me, and I'd kind of just copy and paste that on Facebook as well. And now obviously I'm doing different things like the podcast, the vlogs. I want to kind of get onto every single platform. So that's why I'm kind of like going more consistent on my YouTube channel. So because I've done at least 40 videos now on my YouTube channel, and big up the subscribers as well. I'm on 44 subscribers, but I know people are slowly subscribing, so yeah, big up to all the subscribers as well. So yeah, that was kind of like social media, just getting myself on camera, just kind of like building my confidence up on camera, and now I feel like I'm at the point where I can just talk to you guys through the camera anyway. Even if it's one person or two people that are watching this, look, it means the world to me anyway. But I'm kind of like, I'm happy in the sense where if I just put this out, I'm happy because I'm just talking anyway. I'm doing what I want to be doing. So yeah, that's what I'm happy with. So let's kind of like make a detour from all this magic stuff now. I want to talk about, this is what came up on my mind when I was writing this down. I want to tell you what I'm watching on Netflix, to be specific. Now, I don't normally watch loads. Well, obviously in March when lockdown happened, I watched a ton of Netflix. But now, I kind of like when I'm eating breakfast and stuff, I just switch Netflix on and I watch some stuff. So I'm going to tell you what I'm watching, right? Let me put Netflix up on my computer so I can get the name properly for you. So I'm watching this Zac Efron thing, right? Let me find the name for you, because I totally forgot what it was called. Oh God, I can't even find it, man. Just bear with me. There it goes. Down to Earth it's called, okay, with Zac Efron. I've been watching that and it's pretty cool, you know. So let me know if you've been watching that. It's quite interesting. I'm on season 1, episode 5 at the moment. And it was quite interesting. I find it quite interesting, to be honest. And yeah, so that's what I'm watching. And I tell you, I don't normally like watching like TV shows anymore or episodes unless it's something like The Office US or or Friends even, because they're like the best TV shows ever that I've rewatched 100 times. But yeah, I seen this, it popped up on my Netflix and I watched the trailer and it's actually looked pretty cool. I think it's a German TV show, right? But it's called How to Sell Drugs Online Fast. And yeah, you're probably thinking, what? But it's actually pretty cool so far. I'm on the 2nd episode. But it's actually really cool, so if you guys are interested in that, I'd recommend that. I've only seen like the first episode and a half, but it's quite interesting. Obviously, you're going to need like your British subtitles and audios for it because it's dubbed over in English. I thought it might have been a bit weird at first, but it actually kind of, it's alright once you get to just listen to the audio and stuff like that and watch it. It's actually pretty interesting. So yeah, that's kind of like what I'm watching at the moment. Let me know if you guys have any recommendations for Netflix stuff to watch. I try not to like go too deep into Netflix because I'll end up just binge watching everything, and I beat myself up like a lot about that then because I could have used that time for something else. But yeah, let me know what else. I've watched all like the Dave Chappelle shows because Dave Chappelle's just a legend anyway. So that's what I was watching before all of that. But yeah, let's go back into the magic topic for a second before I wrap up. And this one I left last just because it was on my mind. But obviously, with what's going on in the world right now, it's not going to happen straight away. So performing live again. I remember I looked back on my first or second or even third episode, I can't remember now, and I was saying I can't wait to go performing live again. But the reality is the virus is still out there. You're not going to get large, and I mean large, events where like people can dress up and go out and stuff. Like corporate events and stuff. Everything's going online. So I haven't really thought about going back out there and performing just for small groups of people. Just because with my current situation now, and just that I think I might give it a break, and I'm kind of enjoying what I'm doing at the moment. Not that I don't want to go out performing live, but I want to do it in the safest way possible. So if I was to go back out live again, obviously I would probably make some changes before I get booked, and I'd say that, you know, I'm going to take like a fresh deck of playing cards every time. I've got hand sanitizer because you've got to remember that magicians always use the hands, so you're kind of like touching the cards, handing the cards to other people. You're kind of like touching other people's hands because that happens in magic where you want them to lift the hand up or down or some, you know what I mean? So there's quite a lot of contact in close-up magic. And stage magic is something that I've talked about previously in podcast episodes, but I'm still quite early on in that. So I don't really have a set yet that's kind of like for everybody just to sit down and watch, because my stage shows kind of involve people coming up on stage and I'm being in contact with them as well. So I kind of like 50-50 about it yet. So obviously I know this all online Zoom stuff, I've seen loads of magicians do Zoom magic and stuff. It's something that I'm really looking into as well. But I'm kind of like enjoying this whole online like podcasts talking about stuff and doing magic videos as well. So that's kind of the area that I've gone all in on, rather than like the Zoom magic for like clients and stuff. So that's where I am at the moment. But once we get the all clear that like events and stuff, and I don't really see this happening anytime soon, and I don't mean to be negative, but I kind of want it to happen in the safest way possible. But when the all clear happens and we can like put on events and stuff like that, and you know, like we can do like engagement parties, weddings, and like corporate events and private parties and stuff, that's when I and 100 million of other magicians will be running out of their houses to go back and perform. So yeah, it's kind of just not like the waiting game, but I always want to adapt to it and do something else. So that's why I try to do this as early as possible. But it's kind of gets like you want to just go out, and it's good practice as a performer as well, like to perform and show like new material and stuff. So it's kind of hard in that way, but yeah, we've just got to be patient really, and just do other things that can help us practice our craft more. So yeah, I think we're on 23 minutes. I talked quite a bit today. But you know what? Let's give a shout out to all the podcast listeners. For if you're listening on Spotify, Apple, Anchor, wherever you're listening, I really appreciate you. Thank you guys for listening. I've seen a couple more plays, so big up yourselves for who's listening onto the podcast form. Everybody on YouTube, you always show love. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and even share the episode if you were interested or maybe a friend might like this. If you know somebody that's like a magician, you're like, oh, so and so can maybe hear from this. Yeah, send it over to them as well. Or if you want to just personally message me, feel free to. I'm always happy for messages, and I always reply back anyway. So yeah, this is Ricky2ra. You've been listening to the Ricky2ra podcast, and I'll see you guys next week.